Where do I begin? What's up, guys? As you can see, I'm in my new office. We've painted. It's lovely, and I'm loving it. And I've got my movies over here, and my movies over here, my computer. Yay. Anyways. So, it's Saturday. Yesterday, Slender Man came out. Ryan and I went to go and see Slender Man. It sucked. There's really nothing else I can say about it. It had basically a nobody cast, which is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it is. This time it was. There was no character development in this movie. There was no clear... Well, no. They had a clear storyline that they were trying to go for, but didn't quite succeed at. They had awful editing, awful effects, awful acting. Everything about it was awful. Sony, why do you ruin everything you touch?
Everything I touch dies!
Stop ruining things. I have high hopes for Venom. Just saying. Where do I begin? This movie is literally all over the place. To quote Brian, I don't think that they spent 5 minutes on one scene before jumping to another scene. You had scenes where they were kind of talking about Slender Man, and then at literally person finishes their sentence, next scene. They had these weird cinematic shots. I don't know. It was like there was a picture of a man and his daughter, and the next thing you know, there were random little, like a mobile of like wicker figures, and then it went to 3 people talking. There was no correlation between anything there. They made things up. They had the lore about Slender Man, and they fucked it up. This creature is supposed to come. You see him. You can't escape him. He messes with your head. And he takes children. Well, now he can access the internet. He can access your smartphones. He really fucks up your head. He not only takes children, but also... I'm going to say 17-year-olds. Yes, they're still technically minors, but I would say... Are they? Are they really kids? They have a video that they watch to summon him. I didn't realize that we could summon Slender Man, but apparently we can. Or if he takes someone and you want them back, oh, you can do it. You can get them back. As long as you offer them something. That's new. Never knew you could just do a trade.
Can I have my friend back, please? Because I miss her? Here, take my cup that I made in 5th grade as a present.
But what? That's stupid. Literally dumb. Doesn't make any sense. You can't just trade and expect people to come back. No. There was not one jump scare. Well, sorry. They were trying to do jump scares in this movie over and over and over and over and over again, but they did not succeed. They were terrible jump scares. Nothing made sense. as I said, the editing, it was like, we're just getting into one scene, and then they cut from that scene and go to another scene, and then it's like, oh, well, here's our plan, let's do it, and next thing you know, the scene is already nighttime, and they're already on their way to the plan. No lead up to it, there's no, okay, well, how should we get there? No, what materials do we need? None of that. They're at school talking about a plan. Next scene, immediately after the plan is discussed, hey, we're gonna go to the forest. Okay, sounds good. Boom, already walking to the forest, and it's almost night. Then when they get into the forest, it is night. It's like, where are all these time jumps, and how friggin' far from where they were to the forest is it? Then they do this trade. I don't get it. The characters are terrible. You have Katie, who's barely in it, just disappears and never seen from again. That's it. You see her staring.
All around me are familiar faces.
Her friends walk by. Hey, are you okay? Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. Then she looks back again, her friends keep walking, and next thing you know, she's missing. And they're all being held hostage because they're on a class trip and they can't go home because she's missing.
Where did she go?
Yes, everyone knows it's Slender Man, but was it? Like, it's not for sure, really. Then next thing you know, they go and do the trade. And then they have to blindfold themselves. For whatever reason now all of a sudden. One of them looks, sees Slender Man, runs off into the woods, comes back and she's all like,
Nothing happened. I'm fine. I lost my shoe.
what? Bitch, you're fucked up. So we have Katie, Chloe, Ren, and Hallie. So Katie's gone, Chloe's the one that ran off and then comes back with a missing shoe. Ren is like,
You fucked up. What's going on with you?
and Hallie's like,
Oh, she's fine. Let's just go home.
it's like, bitch, you're stupid. Get it together. You were the first one to bring up having nightmares. And now all of a sudden, oh, none of it's real. Can you actually stay consistent with your character, please? So Chloe is now having like a mental breakdown. I don't know. She's never really seen from again until Ren and Hallie go and investigate literally her house. Because it's like, they're there at school. Chloe's not there. Boy says, hey, where's Chloe? Oh, she's sick. Then immediately next scene, they're going to her house to be like, where are you? And she jump scare, pops out in front of the door and just stares above their heads. And then they just leave. They don't bust down the door and slap her. They don't like scream. They're not freaking out, nothing. They just look at her like, oh, yeah, she's fucked up, and then just leave. And then that's the last time you ever see of Chloe. Then you have Ren, who's going throughout a library because she's doing all this research about Slender Man and missing children and how everything is correlated and just all whatever. And then she starts having a mental attack of her own where the library goes dark. She looks down a hallway, everything just stretches out and morphs and goes weird, and she sees him, and then she has no face, and she stumbles around and falls into the librarian's cart and then runs out. So she's freaking out. She tries to tell Hallie at school to read this book that she found that explains apparently everything. Don't know how, because they just quickly rushed through it, and she was barely audible because she was like,
So then you have to do that, and there's a psychosis, and
calm yourself. I get that your character is supposed to be freaking out, but articulate your words. So the audience who's watching this can actually understand what the hell you're saying, because no one can understand you, bitch. So Hallie's having none of it because she has a date. So that's top priority in her books right now. So she leaves, she's gone, happy birthday to her. Bitch goes on her date, and they literally barely talk to this guy, and She goes to his house, his parents just so happen not to be home. He puts on some music for her on a record player. She's sitting on a couch, he joins her, and then all of a sudden, they're making out. She's literally not even 5 minutes in the house, and they're already about to have sex. She hears noises. She looks behind her. And
He's like, are you okay?
No, I'm fine.
then when she turns back and looks at him, she's freaking out because then his head just goes and like morphing and just like faces just at her, and she's screaming, and it's a mess. And he's like,
Like, oh, is this the video?
and she's like,
Don't watch it.
Oh, yeah, no, I won't, I promise.
and she leaves. Then next day in class, guess who watched the video? And then she has a nightmare again involving Katie now again, who whatever is kind of there but not. She kind of sees her in the woods and she runs after her. And when she's about to be attacked by Slender Man, she wakes up in her bed to hear her parents talking to her sister, who also we barely even know. And so she goes in and she's convulsing and choking and basically dying in her bed, and no one knows why. Like, nothing's explained. And then she goes to the hospital. And 5 minutes later, you find out, oh, Ren took her into the forest to go and find Slender Man, and now she's being attacked as well. So Hallie goes and finds Ren and tries to get her to be like figure out why. Like, it's hard trying to recreate this movie in my head right now because there was really nothing to go on. Like, I'm sounding like Joey King in this movie and not being able to articulate my words because there's nothing that I can recreate for you. It's just literally dog vomit everywhere. She finds her about to jump off of a window, and as she does, she pulls her in, and then Slender Man starts videotaping them through their phone, like a FaceTime kind of a thing, and he's going through, so Hallie runs down and locks the door to prevent him from coming in, but now all of a sudden he's a shadow creature and just poofs his way underneath the crack of the door, and as they're all standing there like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Ren just gets attacked by these branches that wrap around her through the window and yank her out. That's the first time you see a Slender Man actually attack, and B, the last time you ever see Ren. That's it. Apparently, though, before she dies, you literally hear Ren explain, oh, there's no way to stop him. If you want to save your sister who's now trying to be taken by him, you have to give over yourself, because that's the only thing that he wants is us. So we have to give ourselves to him so that way everyone else can be safe. That's new. Then she gets taken, and immediately a voiceover of that same conversation about you need to let yourself be taken to save everyone gets played over again. We just heard this 30 seconds ago. Why do we need to hear it again in an echoey voiceover? We don't. So, Hallie, who's all of a sudden the main character now, goes into the woods looking for Slender Man. She hears 3 bells. She goes past this random gate that is literally just a gate. There's no fence on either side. It's just a gate. It would be as if you put a door in the middle of the road or a field open with no walls that it's attached to, just standing there. That's what this gate was. No fence, just an open gate. So she, instead of going around it, goes through the open gate. Here's 2 bells before going through. Here's the final one after going through. She's walking, goes behind a tree. Next thing you know, oh, Slender Man's walking. No, a tree. And then it's back to Hallie again. Not sure what that was about, but okay. Hallie finds Slender Man. She screams because his face is literally right here. And then composes herself, all within seconds. Looks at him.
Take me.
Then, tentacles out of his back. He gets larger. She screams and fucking runs. Why are you running when you just asked him to take you? That makes no sense. What is happening? She falls. He gets her and sucks her up into a tree. Her sister's safe, but screaming because she now knows her sister's gone. So Lizzie, who is the sister who just got saved, does a voiceover saying, everyone's going to be talking about Slender Man forever now. That's what he wanted. What? What do you mean it's what he wanted? But then, that's how the movie ends. In a school, hallway, people walking, her voiceover, that's what he wanted. Rumors spreading around. End of movie. Done. It was almost like an unfinished thought, and then the movie ended. It's like, oh shit, we ran out of money. End it. So, problems with this movie, again, are too much CGI, because that's all Slender Man was, except for the super close-ups. That's the only time that Javier Botet was actually seen, if you want to call it being seen. Other than that, he was just CGI. The effects of the insanity I found were too bad. The cuts and editing was all over the place. They were cutting scenes too quickly. Basically, characters would just finish sentences, and on that period, they would go to the next scene. It was a mess. They had the elements to create a good movie, and they failed. 9 years after the first official post about Slender Man was put up online, they make a movie. You have 9 years of lore and games and picture and just everything at your disposal, and you took small elements and put them in a pool, and we're like, okay, we now have 4 things that we can run with instead of 28 different things, and created this monstrosity of a film. And I don't understand why, but it exists, unfortunately, and it's a consequence that I'm gonna have to live with, knowing that I saw this movie. Save yourself any trouble. Do not go see this movie unless you actually want to just sit through an hour and a half of wasted time. Then okay. So, no developed characters, too much CGI, weird effects that didn't flow well, too many editing flaws, scenes not long, storyline was all over the place. They kept adding to this lore. It's basically made it up as they went, and just unfinished dialogues or unfinished stories. What they should have done was either a found footage, which would have been amazing, or like an origin story of how he became this entity. Like, where did he come from? How was he thought of? How was he created? That, I think, would have been more entertaining than the mess that we got. Anyways, my rating for this, unfortunately, is going to be, it had elements that could have worked. I'm gonna give it a D-. It just needed to be fleshed out more and edited properly, which they didn't do. I hope you enjoyed this movie review. Save yourself the trouble, don't go watch it. I just explained the movie. You're probably as frustrated as I am right now just hearing about it. Leave some comments down below. letting me know what movie you want me to review next. Make sure you hit the like button if you agree with me. Hit the dislike button if you actually thought this movie was a great movie and it's probably one of your new favorites. If it is, you're weird. But that's okay, so am I. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I try to put out videos every single Saturday. And yeah, make sure you hit the notification bell. Follow me on all of my social media. And we will see you next week. Bye.
My life is a party, my home is the club. I party like a rock star, dance until I drop.